Hey, Bitcoin is crashing, crypto's going down. Is it a good time to buy or should I get out?
Yeah, I've been wondering the same thing. I just came across an extra 5 grand, had an account fold up, so I have to do something with that money. And I see Bitcoin crashing, the market's coming down a bit. Is it going to keep going down? What's going on with the market in general right now, and Bitcoin in particular?
Yeah, great. Why is it going down? And I think I can speak to 2 points on that. One thing we have that's driving this price down is what's called Bitcoin options expiry. Don't worry if you don't know what that means. Just know it causes volatility and it's normal and expected. Sometimes the volatility is to the upside and sometimes, like now, it's to the downside. So it's totally expected and I'm comfortable with that. Another point is liquidations of leverage trading, which is another thing that, again, don't worry if you don't know what that means. Just know that that also causes volatility. Certainly expected, nothing to be concerned about. And actually, some of these are the healthy corrections we're looking for, where we wash out some of that leverage in the market, people in over-leveraged positions that have gotten in over their heads. And this actually helps us get a fresh start.
So that sounds to me with, I'm not super big on all the technical analysis there, but it sounds like me a lot of gamblers are kind of getting wrecked right now, or
Yeah.
or kind of there's a lot of gambling going on, and I don't know if that's a good thing for me to jump into. Again, is this going to continue to go down right now, do you think? Or, are we kind of at the bottom?
Right. Yeah. So in terms of is it going to continue down, and we do have technical analysis for that, and a lot of people don't, have technical analysis training, and that's okay. But one thing we have seen on the charts recently is what's called a head and shoulders pattern, and you have a left shoulder, and then you have a head that's a little higher than that left shoulder, and then to the other side of that you have a right shoulder, and you're like, great, why are we talking about body parts here? Well, because our charts can help us predict, probability in the market. It doesn't give you a fully definitive answer that is going up or down, but it can speak in terms of probability. And this pattern, more often than not, breaks to the downside. So I would expect us to go down from here a little bit and maybe get a little bit better discount. But right here is a great buy zone for me personally. I'm buying at these levels, and I plan to continue buying if it goes a little lower from here.
Okay. So it's going a little low from here. I'm not sure where we're going.
Yeah. Well, from here, the targets, again, with our head and shoulders here, we do have a technical target. And without getting into all of the TA that goes behind this, we could go down to 23,000 from here per Bitcoin. I see a lot of volume at 25,000. And, that could stop us from hitting that technical target. But for me, I love anything under 30,000 right now for Bitcoin. I think that acted as support during that last bull run, and I think anything under 30,000 for me is a great accumulation zone.
Yeah, so you had shown me some charts earlier. We were kind of chatting before the show, and it looks like a good time.
It does.
To punch in. Maybe I put some of that in now and put some of it in a few days. If it goes back down or up, it probably isn't going to make that big a difference. I'm more of a longer term investor versus a daily trader. So
Yeah. And the best part about being a longer term participant in the market is you don't try to time the market. Time in the market beats trying to time the market, right? And to your point of, hey, maybe I put some in now and maybe I put some in later, that's a technique that's referred to as dollar cost averaging in over time. And what I can recommend to viewers is that will, give you that average price over time of stability in this market, especially if you're committed to the long term. And as we've mentioned before, no one holds Bitcoin for more than 4 years without ending up in profit. So if you're a long-term investor, buying these pullbacks is something you'd love to do. But if you're dollar cost averaging anyways, you're probably getting some of these, naturally anyways along the way.
sure. Yeah, I just have this extra cash, so wanted to do something with it. And I just been wondering if it's going to go down, because I'd rather buy it 20 if it's going to hit that far, or 23. But at the same point, if it's going to bounce back up over 30, I might as well jump in now.
That's personally where I'm at. I'm not trying to time the absolute bottom of any pullback. I'm just trying to take advantage of when they happen. And could it go down to 20? That's beyond our technical target, right? When I put the TA up earlier, I like that. So what might cause that? Debt ceiling is big in the news right now. If they're not able to resolve the debt ceiling by June and we get some sort of, crisis after that, where the news loves their crisis headlines, we could see a quick trip down to 20K, but I wouldn't count on it. I wouldn't wait for it, because you could miss out on a discounted price right now, waiting for 20K that may not ever happen. It could, though. It takes something bigger than this technical target. It would take, some macro stuff to push it lower.
And I understand you're not giving me financial advice. No financial advice on this channel at all.
Yep. So, in other elements, if we wanted to put some further evidence as to is now a good time to buy, and you mentioned we were talking before the show, and I showed you a couple kind of graphics, chart type things. And again, these aren't big technical things, but there was this rainbow chart that we talked about. And this one's a fun one to look at for me because I think it really makes it easy for someone that doesn't have a lot of technical knowledge to understand what's going on here. You have the warmer colors when Bitcoin's overheated, and the cooler colors like the blues when you're in a zone that is like basically a fire sale, right? It's like buy now, and anyone that buys in the blue over time does really well. And as we looked at that chart together, we saw that we're in that buy zone right now. And again, you're not trying to time things perfectly. We're in the blue generally over time has been good on this rainbow chart. So again, another reason I'm buying at these levels.
Yeah, I did like that one. That one is pretty easy to understand. Kind of like seeing the history. There's only been a few times where, Bitcoin went over that amount. And I don't even know if there was much. And of course, that probably changes over time with the chart, but it did look good. So that's kind of for the channel here. Thought it made sense to talk about that a little bit today. Sort of timely info.
Yeah, and for our math geeks in the audience, if you're a math geek out there, what drives that rainbow chart is actually logarithmic regression, which is some mathematical term that's beyond me. I'm not a logarithmic regression guy, but the way I had ChatGPT explain it to me quite simply is that it accounts for the extreme volatility in crypto, and it kind of smooths out that data and makes it easier to present. So if you're wondering what that, what drives that chart, there is some actual, advanced mathematics that drives that chart. Certainly mathematics that go beyond me in my understanding of math. So I'll take it for what it's worth there that they're actually on the right track there. This chart's always been accurate, historically.
There's a reason I only spent 1 year in engineering, and it had a lot to do with logarithms and calculus and all of that good stuff. I'd rather let somebody else or some computer take care of that for me. And I'd like the graphics and the trends. Those are fun to see. Interesting. I like what you said about patterns. Patterns over time, I think, are certainly important. Both patterns by, whales, patterns by retail traders, and just historical patterns based on, the halving, based on other events, like you said, the debt ceiling things. And there's a lot going on. So, we can trade back and forth and look at a lot of those details. But anything else you'd like to share about that?
Well, yeah, you mentioned whales in there, and that prompted a thought for me, bringing me back to our points at the top of the show, where we talked about, leverage trading, and we talked about, Bitcoin options. And now you mentioned whales. And to our viewers, whales are just very wealthy investors that can move the market, right?
Or corporations.
Yeah.
Lots of holdings. Yeah.
And, just like we've always seen manipulation in traditional finance, we've always seen manipulation in gold. You do also see manipulation in crypto markets in terms of whales, and the same people that have manipulated all the traditional markets, right? And they're not able to manipulate the blockchain, though, like traditional finance was actually able to manipulate things behind the scenes. But they are able to manipulate price, with these big options, with leverage, things like that. So I guess the message, now you mentioned what whales are, I wanted to kind of tie that into what we're already talking about, because we like to try to swim with the whales and not, swim counter to them. So if you swim with the whales, you're kind of along for a free ride, swim with the whales, free ride.
Sure.
And you can benefit from their actions if you're watching. Yep. Yeah. Hang 10. So, other than that, one other encouraging thing that tells me that now may be a good time to buy, and we looked at another chart on this too, that as that price came down over the last year with Bitcoin, we saw the number of wallets with one whole Bitcoin take a dramatic, uptick. And I thought that was quite interesting, that chart, because it shows that people are accumulating at these levels, at least, wallets that hold a whole Bitcoin. I don't have a whole Bitcoin. I have Satoshis, like most people that are first getting into this, but I think that's a good indicator too, that we're seeing accumulation right now.
Yeah, same here. I took from that, like you said, a lot of, I would say, smaller investors, kind of like us, starting to accumulate more to get over that one Bitcoin part. I also don't have a full Bitcoin, but lots of Satoshis kind of scattered over a few different investment accounts. So Yeah.
Outstanding. Yeah. So I think that pretty much, wraps up where we're at. Personally, I'm buying at these levels, not financial advice. Everyone assess your own risk and do what you like with your own money. But definitely a buy zone for me. I've got some projects I'm excited about, and I think we're looking at doing a $1,000 portfolio together. So look for that soon. That's something that I'm just teasing right now. We're just teasing that on the channel, but it's something that we're looking forward to discussing and putting out there on the channel, and then tracking how it does over time with all of you and hearing about some of what you're into as well.
So I think one more quick thing before we completely wrap. We're also planning on a video about some of our favorite altcoins or things that we're kind of looking at, maybe some riskier events under 20 to 100 in terms of market cap, and maybe some longer odds altcoins that might have much higher return. So we'll be looking to put that video together. I think what I'm going to do is I'll probably put this money into Bitcoin, and then kind of a safe haven right now with all the instability. And then we'll probably pop some of that into some of these alts that we've been talking about. So
yeah, look forward to that portfolio video soon. And if there's any projects that you're excited about, just put them in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what's exciting you in this opportunity to get things at a discount. That's all we have for today's show.
I'm Eldon.
I'm Jeremy, and thanks for coming to Modern Moneymakers. We appreciate it, and we'll be seeing you next time.
See you next time.